All right. Welcome, everyone, back to another episode of Just Bullin'. Joining me, as always, is my buddy Wonder.
Hello, hello.
This
What we doing?
episode is going to be, I hope everyone is doing well. We've had a great week, weekend, knocking out. You know what? I'm jumping the gun on things. This episode is strictly about Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. The good, the bad, the ugly. And I figure, you know, I always like eat my vegetables first and leave the good stuff last. So
Yeah.
we're going to start with the ugly. And we're going to play a clip that I saw earlier that I know is literally going to fucking grind every single fucking gear that Wonder has. But we're going to watch this. We're going to comment on this. We're going to read some of the fucking comments on Twitter and on this video itself. And then we're going to let you guys know our actual thoughts on Space Marine 2, what we thought, our experience during it, and then we'll go from there.
Hmm.
So here we go. Get ready for this. Oh, that's right. It's on Twitter. Here we go.
And one more thing I got to briefly mention is the small amount of wokeness in the game, depending on your definition. Basically, the only left wing propaganda I noticed while playing this game is the comical amount of diversity. The most offensive being the major of the Cadian guardsmen, who is an Indian woman, an ugly one at that. Remember, testosterone converts to estrogen. Speaking of estrogen. Yeah, that's something, all right. Can we shoot her? Just stomp on her on accident. If you compare her to the woman from the first game, it's like night and day. And while she really doesn't do much during the story other than yell on the comms throughout the first half of the game, it's just incredibly annoying seeing girl boss characters in this day and age, especially in a supposedly grim, dark universe. And the diversity isn't just the guardsmen, it's also the space marines. Now, again, I'm not an expert on the lore, but I understand that space marines come from gene seed, which comes from their primarchs, right? Which comes from ultimately the emperor. So why are all these ultramarines different ethnicities? Shouldn't they all be the same race as Gilliman? Again, I'm not an expert on this, but I feel like portrayals I've seen of space marines, they're generally all white, except for the salamanders, who are like charcoal black or something. One of Titus's squad mates is
Hold on.
black-ish,
Just
and the other one is like a Happa or something. It's hard to tell because they all have these weird Giga Chad features. Basically, every Space Marine looks like the Chad meme. So there is one Space Marine that is just straight up undeniably African, which is bizarre. He's corrupted. You can see it on his skin. Either way, you get the point. This has definitely got to be a retcon for diversity purposes. And yeah, I got to say, it definitely distracted me. It wasn't woke enough for me to say, like, oh, this is blatant propaganda, but it's clear to see that Games Workshop is going down a slippery slope. I mean, there's a female custodes, aka the Super Space Marines, that guard the Emperor. And if they're willing to make a female super space marine, you better fucking believe they're going to have a female regular space marine in the next couple years. So certainly something to look out for in the future.
Ah,
comments.
so the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
What we see?
I,
One of the one. Ugh.
before we get into the comments, I gotta get this out there. The dude doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He has
Absolutely not. He prefaced
literally,
all of the shit he said with, I don't know a whole lot about the lore.
but it's not even that he doesn't know anything about the lore. Like, you spent zero time like looking at the game. You've actually spent zero time like looking at the game, understanding what the game is about. Like, it's not that deep. Like, if you're a gamer, you're most likely a nerd. Like, that Venn diagram is often a circle. There's a certain amount of pull that these things have on us. I'm not saying everybody knows the exact height, dick length and shoe size of Master Chief. But most people know that Master Chief is like 8 9 feet tall, as wide as two middle linebackers, and faster than Usain Bolt in his fucking spermatozoa form. Like it's not that hard to like gain basic understanding. And if you've seen anything of Warhammer, like anything in the previews, or whatever, you see different looking motherfuckers all the time. For God's sake, it's like Star Wars. Like, why? I know why though. I know why. I'm not excusing him. I'm not excusing this person. I want to make that completely clear. This is what this is personally what I fight against in the community, because this is what I'm always compared to. And as far as like nerd fandoms go, like, or even if I'm not compared to it, this is the kind of parallels that you kind of shuffle along into
So, so you're
if you
saying
talk about that kind of stuff.
they're good fans, obviously you being one, and myself, and then there's people like this who people lump all the other fans in with.
Exactly, because he's making a couple points, like the female custodian thing. That's a point, like that's an actual gripe that he has, like a legitimate gripe, but it's mixed in with all the other bad shit. And unfortunately,
It's mixed in,
when you
I feel
cover,
like, with all the other feelings he has, because
yeah,
he searched
and
out that specific bit of information to make his point.
yeah, and it was like you're almost right, but from a completely wrong base, and it destroys your whole argument because most of what you're saying is wrong. You're right in the wrong direction. It's really weird, and it's I didn't like that. Uh, but yeah, no, we don't agree with this guy's views at all. In on the point of racism, for anybody who is getting into Warhammer or is not familiar with Warhammer, do not listen to that shit. What I find funny about Warhammer in particular is that they have straight up evolved beyond like racism as far as like humans are concerned, because of how bad it has been for humans for thousands of years,
You
like
said this
millennia.
when I first started, when I very first started learning about Warhammer. One of the first things I learned from you was the fact that ultimately the humans don't fight with each other outside of like little skirmishes and turmoils, whatever. But the real enemy is chaos and all of the other fucking aliens out there. So we don't have time for this "you're black" or "you're white" bullshit. It's
one
no,
of the
we're all meat.
one of the biggest, at least to me, because I am black, um one of the biggest sticking points is, there is a thing, you can go on the wiki, there's a thing called Terran Black, which is a skin
Terran
tone.
black. Okay.
Or sorry, not Terran Black, Terran Dark, my bad. Terran Dark, it is a skin shade. The Emperor was Terran Dark.
I'm gonna read this comment, and I wanted your information on it. Your comment. Okay, this guy said, "Bro, the Emperor isn't even white." Edit. Let me get some things straight, because a lot of people are coming in and arguing over this comment. When I made the comment, it is believed he is not white. Most of the Warhammer community does not think he is white. The most common theories is that he is Turkish, Middle Eastern, or some may even say Native American.
Yep.
That is crazy.
Yeah. What's crazy is when you most of what you hear about the Emperor, if you listen to the geography of where he was on Earth and where he decided to base the Imperial
Oh,
Palace.
you said, you told me this because they based it on the Earth. What's the what's the thing called when all the continents were one thing?
Pangea.
Pangea. He was there then
Hmm. Yeah.
when
Oh, yeah. The
during
Emperor's older
Pangea, and
as
then
fuck.
so when everything was one, and then everything split, he was there. He was alive. Because for the people out there, and look at me knowing some shit. He is what's called a perpetual.
Yep.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
They do not die. They don't die of old age. They just exist
But
and
what
forever.
what I find crazy about him is, if you listen to the geography of where he eventually settled and just take out context clues, he settled in, not even context clues, they tell you at one point he settled in the Himalayan mountains. He settled in Shangri-La, my guy.
Probably somewhere he was used to and comfortable with.
Yeah,
That he
Nanga fucking Parbat. Like, yeah, go look that up and then put that in your feather. Put that feather in your cap. Like, so all that racism is specifically for the aliens because we don't like Xenos unless you're Bobby G.
oh,
He has
here's
an
a
Eldar girlfriend, but he's allowed because she brought him back.
whoa.
Don't tell the one. No, I'm joking. It's a meme. It's a meme.
Okay, I was about.
No,
This
no,
is
no.
a good one.
If anybody looks up Rabute Gilliman and Yvrain,
That's
you'll
not
love the
real.
memes. It's hilarious.
Okay. Someone said, somewhat of a 40K nerd, the Space Marines are regularly humans that are genetically altered by their prime arc's gene seed in adolescence. While some gene seeds affect their skin tone, namely the Salamanders and the Night Lords, they have always been canonically, ethnically diverse. Actually, most of them are even from Terra Earth. Female Space Marines, on the other hand, okay, yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
That's a couple murmurs that's become a viable concrete picture that we still don't know. I mean, there could be we still don't know if, but as of
Still don't know
now,
what.
in the Lord, we still
Still
don't know
don't
if
know what.
that's happening, right?
What do you mean?
Like that was just a concept. When we talked last time, when we talked about them possibly making a female Space Marine,
No.
a woman
So
Space Marine.
yeah, just to
Should I say
clarify,
woman?
this wasn't supposed to be canon. This is a clusterfuck that GW is dealing with right now. A real problem because they lost stock over this. The one of the top people, I think the CEO of Games Workshop, had to sell 2/3 of her stock um because of this decision. Like they fucking around with real money. Like these are real adults. But anyway, backtracking. Um, Amazon pushed for Games Workshop to include female custodians because they wanted the drama. They wanted a female, that's super powerful, and nobody reads the lore, and they want, to upset people.
Mhm.
Games Workshop didn't want it, but obviously they kind of had to bend the knee a little bit.
Amazon
Um,
movie.
but they wanted to fight it, but because Henry Cavill announced a couple things about Warhammer, they took Games Workshop and Amazon took it as up. Cat's out of the bag now. Like, we guess we got to go with it. Like, the fuck kind of sense does that make? It's a really weird situation that they're trying to save themselves from. But as far as the female Space Marines go, that's not gonna happen. And as far as of right now, that wasn't even
So
a thing. It
so
was
that
it was purely the custodes, and it was for the
so
Amazon show.
and so that's why it was great that for someone to come into a universe, I'm gonna say, I don't like to say franchises because that's a universe, and say, I don't know much about this. I heard this one thing about fucking there might be a woman. Well, actually, he's kind of stated it as fact, to be perfectly honest. He stated it as fact that there is a female custodes and there will be a space marine sometime in the future, but
Yeah,
inadvertently he has no idea anything in this game.
yeah. It's him being reactionary, not having any information. He's doing what 90% of or I say 90. He he's doing what 70% of the internet does. They hear a thing and run with it based on context clues and what they've experienced beforehand. And it's a really dangerous slope. Funny that he said that about Games Workshop, which once again he's not wrong, but in the wrong direction. Um, but as far as that goes, yeah, it's always been diverse. We loved um, the female commander from the first game, the female Cadian commander. We
Mhm.
loved her. I think her name was Mira. Um, I thought she sounded a bit like the new Laura Croft, which I found hilarious and cool as shit.
Mhm.
So I dug it. I dug her character immediately, and I wasn't mad about the female character in the female Cadian commander in the second one because she fit the bill. Honestly, she fit the bill more than the first chick did because she seemed like a '90s cast. It seemed like like they cast Jessica Alba in the Fantastic Four movie again with that, at least visually.
Okay.
But it wasn't weird. It just but the in Space Marine 2, that general, she feels like she does something. Like, I wouldn't square up with that woman.
Dude, no. I wouldn't have.
Like,
Like, especially what you told me about cadence in general. That's not a single one that I would start shit with.
oh yeah, absolutely not. Give me just a second. I'm gonna look her up real quick. But for those out there interested in Warhammer, there's another female commander. I believe she was a naval officer. Um, from the world. She was part of the Solar Auxilia. But she was underneath the command of the World Eaters during the Horus Heresy. And this bitch was bad enough to not only speak up but take to task other space marines like captains and shit like that during the Horus Heresy. Like women are badass and fucking, and we don't even get into like the Sisters of Battle because them bitches go like
That's that.
shut up about diversity in places that you are not. I want to make a quick note of that. Like, shut up, like for real. Like, just honestly, if you're
My
listening to this and you are one of those people, shut up. I'm not coming from a mean place with this, but like, if I were to walk into a hospital as a male, like I was born male, I present male. If I go into a OBGYN and start telling women about their lack of care for men and men's issues and things like that, and how they're terrible and shit like that, or if I go into a Mattel store and start telling them how they're nothing like Power Wheels, or they're nothing like Polly Pocket or some or
yep.
whatever opposing brand, like y'all would look at me crazy. Nowadays y'all would try and physically kick me out. So I just have to ask, why is it that you feel so comfortable doing that with Warhammer? The answer is because you don't respect it.
I think
And
okay. Yes.
I think
Ultimately,
that's
I feel like the answer is that they do not respect it, and money matters more to them because we've talked about it multiple times. People, when they get their hands on these franchises, it will take a couple of days to go down a lore trail or fucking watch somebody's fucking lore video to get a gist of everything that goes on. My
yeah,
issue with the female custodies and the possibility of female uh
Space Marines.
space marine is the fact that, like you said, Warhammer in itself is extremely diverse. Like, it isn't all about the Space Marines. It isn't all about the Primarchs. It isn't all about fucking all kinds of shit. There's different factions and different people who do have representation in all acts. I guarantee there's gay people in fucking Warhammer too, right?
Yes, yes, there are.
It's everywhere. So anyone could have been like, okay, let's see what we got to work with. Man, all of these, there's a whole lot of men, but that's oh shit, these are some cool. Oh, okay, let's work them into this, because at the
Because
end of the day, everybody is part of the empire and everyone works together. So why can't a story be told from multiple sides without changing the gender?
it's what, like I said, it's a lack of respect, and it's not even that deep when you look at it. It's because the before you even look at like, oh, it's a money thing, the lack of respect has to be there beforehand because you have to pick a mark.
Yeah, you do.
You have to, and that, I think that's the biggest thing missing from a lot of the conversation about nerddom and things like that. We we have to check these motherfuckers at the door, like for real. Like, you have to start vetting people. Gone are the days when we used to have people that were like, okay, you have how many movies under your belt? You did how good? You won how many awards? Like, I feel like I've said this for years, for decades now. Um, Hollywood is too in love with the underdog, and that's not just like the meta of a story. That's in real life too. Case in point, the Acolyte. Just to briefly touch on that. What did Leslie Headland do before the Acolyte? She did Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That's why she was hired. That and the fact that she's Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, so she knows where some bodies are buried, and she's
Are you
probably
talking
got
about
some different. Yeah, the Acolyte, the showrunner for the Acolyte.
funny? It's crazy because I had no idea who she was ever. And the funny fucking thing is, I go down these rabbit holes and found out that the movie Congo would have never been made if we're not gonna, if she didn't give her husband a script, it had been shopped around and pushed around so many times that she just happened to read it. And I'm like, man, I wish she would stick to reading fucking scripts and putting good shit out there.
This is, and once again, for those nerds out there who are really into this stuff, this is the reason we've been saying for decades. What great thing has Kathleen Kennedy done other than be a part of of an ensemble? Like you can say all the long day that George is weird and like his ideas were, this and that, but George is the man who brought us Star Wars. Case in point. Whatever else you have to say about his vision and whatever else he wanted to do that was aside from Kathleen Kennedy, he brought us Star Wars. And every time he opens his mouth about Star Wars, he's right because he was the guiding force behind it. Him and a couple other people, but he made Star Wars for us. And once again, what has Kathleen Kennedy done except be a part of an ensemble and facilitate things being done?
Question: I gotta you correct me if I'm wrong. What's the difference between executive producer and producer?
That I couldn't
Question:
tell you.
Question: the director is more important than the producer, correct?
Yes, especially in terms of us nerds, because the directors are the ones who have the hands on the cutting room floor. The producer has final say, but the director is there with the hands on.
And the director is the one putting all this shit together. And the producer is the one that's saying this is how it all should fit together.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm looking at she's attacked like you. I'm looking at. I was looking at all of these movies that I've seen and enjoyed, and that's why I'm like, okay, she didn't have like ultimate say over a lot of stuff. It's just she knew
That's what I'm.
someone. She,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So EPs are mostly there for the actual cut and dry. Where's the money going? How are we moving all these parts around? Whereas producers are there for the day-to-day filmmaking process.
Okay.
But even without knowing those definition things like that, and this is another thing is a problem with our fandom. We need to become a little bit more eloquent with the way we speak on social media and things like that. But the biggest thing is articulation. I'm gonna say this, and y'all can take it as sexist. Um, but at the end of the day, the biggest problem with the Star Wars, the reason Star Wars got taken over, and the reason Star Wars got co-opted, and the reason we're in such a starry state we are now, is because girls know how to talk, dudes don't. The reason I say that is because the what has been the whole narrative behind Star Wars and behind the reason for the clash of fans between Star Wars. Oh, the boys don't want to see the girls.
Yeah.
Now go back to 1970, was it 79 when the first Star Wars came out? Or no, it was 80. What am I tripping about? Sorry, I'm young. I watched all these movies as a
Yeah,
12-year-old.
yeah. Don't worry. We'll get the dates together in
Yeah,
post.
but go back to when these movies were created, and it was revolutionary that Leia was the leader of the group. You can go back and look at interviews back in the day and now of uh, of George Lucas stressing the fact that Leia was the smartest. Leia was the brain trust. And then all of a sudden, somewhere like Padme Amidala.
To be perfectly honest, let me stop you real quick. As of someone who didn't grow up like being a Star Wars nerd or any kind of like whatever, I watched a lot of these things like over not social media, but um over the years, seeing what the fandom is saying. And as far as I was concerned, outside looking in, if you didn't have a fucking lightsaber in your hand, you weren't a stormtrooper, or you weren't Princess Leia or Princess Padme, you were no one.
Exactly.
So how, as far as I'm concerned, they've always been the most important things that happen. Like, and
But
and,
what
and they're not. And there's other women throughout the series too that a lot supportive
Ayla
even before you
Sakura,
get. Yeah,
Varys Offee, like we're not gonna get into that. I know names, we're not gonna talk about that. But the biggest problem is once again, girls know how to talk, dudes don't. The problem is girls aren't interested. The dudes are.
and you think now the money says I want the girl interested, so this is what we're gonna
Well,
do.
they've said as much in interviews. I've sent you the stuff, and I can dig it up again. But
No, I
they've said
remember
it.
Forces
They've
female and all that.
Yeah, they said as much even before the Force is female. They said as much in interviews how they were trying to turn um, Star Wars into more of a girl brand. And I'm like, the fundamentally the problem, like I said, the problem was the dudes couldn't articulate what they were feeling, like what was going on to their fandom. But the girls had all the words, all the right emotions, all the right lexicon to just tell you, oh, the boys just don't want to let us in. And of course, boys will be boys, bad boys, and all let the girls have a go. And I mean, that sentiment was like it was natural out in the world already. I mean, we were seeing it everywhere else, and it was right in most of those places. Why not let the girls in Star Wars? Yeah, mind you, to the more discerning fan, you're seeing them like, what are you talking about? Like they're awesome. What are you doing? But it was like years of confusion about like what are they talking about? And then we started to see it when they started cutting out the dudes. And the worst part about it was we don't mind seeing chicks with lightsabers. We love that shit. Ask any dude, it's hot. The
Hmm.
problem is you you have to punch down. You have to make that dude stupid in order to make her seem awesome. And you're doing two characters a disservice at that point. And once again, the dudes can't really just come out and say, well, like, why you make him lame and make her awesome? Because it sounds like you're whining. And anybody else hearing that doesn't want to hear what they have to say and is getting what they want, all they have to do is say something to make them look bad, which they did. Like it's simple math. Like we know most nerds aren't super socially, adept when it comes to like public speaking and things like that. Like it's this
And
stereotypical
it's
nerd.
hard to follow. They don't want me to watch this.
Ex- and you have to
So
think the world wasn't as connected as it is now. So we're seeing the shit in real time.
and
Concord,
we're behind the curve because
yeah,
what happened? We're behind the curve because they've had years of saying in the background where not everyone can see these emails or these text messages or these conversations
exactly,
that hey that you should put more if you don't put more women in this or do this blah blah blah.
bro.
So by the
I,
time we hear about it, it's happening.
I forgot to tell you about this, and this is the last bit. And I'm gonna get off of it. I forgot
No,
to tell you about
we can
this.
talk about whatever the fuck we want.
There is a video about this. The the creator of Sweet Baby Inc. Sorry to bring them up again, but
What
the creator
is
of Sweet Baby Inc.
tell me about them again?
Sweet Baby Inc. is that consultant company that does
Oh
all the
yeah, okay, got it.
DEI,
Yeah, got it.
ESG. Yeah. So there's a video out there of her basically doing a big seminar about for consultancy groups, telling them basically how to get money, to get funding and getting these companies. And her whole thing was like, yes, terrify them if you must. Let them know the consequences if they don't understand what you're trying to bring to them, what you're trying to keep them from. Like you can go online and look this up. There have been multiple people that
they threatened companies. Well, they said that.
yeah,
Come on.
what they do it because social media is so big now. We've seen so many people get canceled on Twitter by tweets they made in the past, whatever. It's really easy now to threaten these companies with like political fallout because everybody's got something in the closet, and it's just about finding that little bit. And if you have someone who is good at finding these bits, or at very least good at implying what
Or
you
has
would
been
face.
sitting around for years next to people while they've been doing all kinds of stuff and just taking notes.
Exactly. So it's like it's an easy grift. And I told you, like we've talked about the fact that like these companies, they get their money, tell you what they want to tell you, and then they fuck off. They don't. It doesn't matter whether the game does well or fails. They get their money. Uh, Sweet Baby was getting like 7 mil off of people, which is crazy. But yeah, it's once again, it's the narrative, and the nerds have to learn how to talk better because
because coming there whining and stinky, ain't nobody gonna listen to you.
and the problem is the angry dudes like me, the dudes who are like the actual diehards who would like who play Helldivers and Space Marine and fucking grind that shit out because that's how their brains are wired. The motherfuckers who like live in this shit, we're tired of talking because we say this shit all the time, and y'all don't want to hear it because it it rocks the boat a little bit. But at the same time, if you don't rock the boat, then shit
So
ain't
what
gonna get
you're
done.
saying is, while you guys have been talking the whole time, the fucking shitty fandom has been just, nothing's gonna change, or fuck that. I don't want to even hear that now.
Yeah,
Then
it's
when
not even
the shit is happening because they didn't they didn't speak up when y'all spoke up, these changes are coming, and now you're complaining about something that we warned you about.
exactly because nothing is shittier than just doing nothing. That's the worst part about it. Being a fan of all these fandoms, watching them be destroyed, and then watching people wake up and ask what happened. Nothing will ever like annoy me as much as one of my former friends looking me dead in my face after having tried to shove Batgirl and all this like in Harley Quinn like after having explained to him why I dislike the new Harley Quinn, just asked me out of the blue, "Hey man, why don't you like Batman anymore?" I'm like, we've had multiple
Oh,
conversations about how I don't fuck with all this weird shit that's going on. Like, I just want a good story. Like I love Barbara Gordon. I love Cassandra Cain. Like that woman is one of my favorite superheroes. Period, female or male. Big Bart is another one. Like so you like I got him on lock. And you gonna sit there and ask me after all that, after you dick roll Batgirl or sorry, Batwoman, the CW show with Ruby Rose in it. It's like the normies wake up and like smell the cops like, wow, this stuff is weird. Is that why you don't like that? Oh, that's why you didn't want to watch that. It's like, man, there's no more good comics nowadays. Man, but nothing is crazier than seeing like on TikTok. Man, all the movies are bad now. All the superheroes are bad. It's like, shut up, bro. Just put my fries in the bag, bro. It's over for you.
just hand me my fucking pack of magic cards so I can get out of here, dude.
Exactly. But and you know what? The best part about it is, at the end of the day, I can go back to the manga, the book, the comic, whatever it is.
Source
And I can go back.
material.
I can go back and enjoy myself. But the normies, they're left out in the cold because they had to waste money on all this horrible shit, and then they get to hear us snicker and laugh about how horrible that shit is and how cool our shit is. And nowadays they want to be in it. They have been Stockholmed into nerd shit. That's the worst part of it.
That's one of those things that, like, what I've noticed over the past, and I actually like how this episode has turned into the negativity of fandoms and people with reach and the wrong people. This is what I want this episode to be. This is what we're going. Anyway, the issue I've been seeing as of late is, as we can see, the lull of what's hot in the streets right now versus what isn't, because everyone thinks fucking anime is cool. We getting our fucking Mad series, we getting our fucking video game adaptations, but y'all don't fucking realize that shit's gonna run out, man.
Yeah, man.
We're just what's hot right now, and you are living in a golden age where the people who only read books found out that movie was happening. This is just the same shit. They just got more time to fucking do it with it before they switch on to what's hot in the streets. And eventually, anime and video games gonna be so fucking mainstream. It's not gonna be special that one comes out. Like,
Oh
we
nah.
just saw a fucking list of fucking 40 fucking series that can come out. Shit, actually, me and you can fucking talk about that when I find and pull it up. But they're about to remake and touch all of these fucking series, and then it's about to be absolutely fucking bonkers
Yeah,
what they do.
it's gonna be wild. And Warhammer's just the beginning. Speaking of Warhammer, by the way, just got to touch on that real quick about the game that just dropped, Space Marine 2. Saint, how you feel about it, man?
I fucking loved it. I honestly, okay, and I'll preface this with everyone tells me that I give things a lot of credit. But this time, I genuinely enjoyed the game. My only bad experience was that you were having a bad experience with it, to be perfectly honest. As we mentioned in a previous episode, our issue with it and what we had was that we looked forward to and talked about this game for months. Those who have been listening, when we took a day off of work, paid PTO, 8 hours.
Yep.
We sat here to find out that one, it won't gonna be released to 12. I guess we could have knew that. That's not a big deal. We chilled. We made up for that time. We had a good time.
Yeah.
But these problems that arose were the fact that for one, the multiplayer would not stay connected. It was a known issue that they were passing around different fixes and updates and different random ass shit. And for 4 fucking days, we sat not being able
Yeah.
to play this fucking game together. And fuck fuck operations and fuck all other shit. We adults. We buy games to buy games. If we don't want to fucking play games, we don't have to fucking play games. We don't have to do this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it ain't nothing to not play a game for a particular reason. We bought it for multiplayer. We could play operations fucking anytime. We could play all the other shit anytime. So it
Yeah,
was a
man.
fucking buzzkill and a hype kill to fucking have to sit and wait and hope that they come through. And I was on it daily, having wanted to try different things, hopping on this computer, trying different things. Nothing.
Yeah. It was bad,
It
bro.
finally fixed itself. It launched on a Monday, or Tuesday, whatever fucking day it launched. They
It was
put out
Monday, and
yeah,
then that
the
Tuesday I
patch
tried
came
it out.
out. The patch came out on a Tuesday. We had some issues on and off, like disconnected once or twice, but after that, fucking nothing. And so once we started fucking playing the game, loved it. Every minute of it. And I'm going to tell
Fucking
you
loved it, bro.
how I really have and I'm trying to find things that I want to say in genuine gripes about what's wrong. And the only thing I can get to that it just wasn't long enough. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I can say.
And
The
to be
missions
fair,
missions were long for a game, but it wasn't for the wait as long as we did and to beat it as quick as we did. It wasn't long enough. 6 missions isn't long. It's like 4 hours
to be
solid.
fair, I understand what they did with it because
I
the
do too. We're gonna talk
half,
about
half
that in the roadmap.
yeah, half the story is built into the operations,
Hmm.
which
Which is cool.
I've been I've been doing that shit I do in every other game that I play. Anytime there's a character action game or anything like that, I will grind the first level of an area until I get what I want as far as like the combat tree and shit like that.
What
And it
level are you
also
now?
worked out. Yeah, I'm 16,
Jeez.
16 going on 17. Um, and I've been doing low level, um, just because I want to practice with it and get better with it. That way, when I get on stream, I'm not garbage. Um, but yeah, they split it up. So we haven't played through operations fully yet. There's at least 6 missions there, but seeing what they did, they split it up. So there's more content coming. There's new missions, new enemies, and they'll be dotted out throughout this roadmap. And I gotta say, for as robust of a live action service as this is, with story mode, PVE, which another PVE mode is coming, along with they've hinted at horde mode. So with as robust as this thing is, where it
Yeah,
has
I'm gonna
something
go
for
ahead and bring that
everybody,
up. Bring it up
I,
right here.
I gotta say they've they've done all right with this. It's not a Helldivers killer as everybody kept saying. Um,
They're completely two different games.
Yeah, but I get why people said that. And honestly, if Arrowhead hadn't come out and did what they did with the updates and the 6-day plan, it might have, sheerly by the first week hype, it may have killed Helldivers. But it did not. Um, and there's honestly not enough game to actually kill Helldivers.
I,
But this is this is a good game.
I, I really, again, knowing nothing of the Warhammer, series, I enjoyed it. The game, it's gonna sound funny. The game itself is fucking huge. There are times that we got lost because there are parts of the game that just look like the level, and not like, oh, it looks like comically like the level. Like it is just a one giant cathedral, and you don't realize that. Holy shit! I can go around this bend and go into the rest of this thing because it's like you could drop off anywhere almost. I feel like in lieu of making the missions extra long, they made giving us more missions. I see what they're doing because we got not shit. End of this one, end of this month, we get ultra wide support, which I have no idea what that is. Private PVE lobbies, which that one might be cool. We'll see because we got a lot of our friends that play PVE, so it may be cool. We'll see. I'm not battle bar sparring arena. I'm not a PvP person. I like to play fun,
I
and
am I am down for that just because I come from For Honor.
well, you'll be happy. I play with you to be funny because I'm getting my snipe on.
Yeah, and
Which
I
which
I have no problem doing duels and shit like that.
which I feel like is another reason why I can say this is a great game because I picked up the sniper the first couple missions that we played, and I told myself, and I told Sketch, I was like, "Oh, this is nice. I'll play with this." But I told myself, "Fuck this. I'm not playing with this. I'm gonna get through this fucking mission. I'm not doing this shit again." But then by the end of that mission of using that weapon, I saw the vision of how, and again, I picked one character and I've stuck to one character, one class, and that's the sniper. But I realized the how bad of a once I get all those other perks unlocked and stuff like that, and one shot. For right now, just for a couple perks, I'm shooting a laser beam through like 8 enemies.
Yeah,
Like I'm taking heads off. Like we got
and three
clips.
of them are Majoras. So
We
yeah.
got we got clips of one of running up on somebody and swinging a sword, and that motherfucking head pop off.
Oh, bro, it was fucking amazing.
I love it. I
The
love it.
Inferno mission, he lines up that fucking last fusel, and I just run up to people. I see the laser fire, and they're immediately ready for execution. I was just walking around
Oh yeah, yeah,
executing
man.
people.
If Chiron was on point, man, we would have knocked all of them down, man. Because by the I stopped, him and Chiron are running that way, and I'm knocking heads off. So by the time they get through the mini guys or whatever, they just taking out the big dudes, and we moving the fuck on. I loved it, man. And so
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to playing more operations because just like he said, while I said the campaign itself is short, there's two sides to the story, and the half of it is told in operation. On top of there being different bosses that we will have to fight.
yeah, because we got
I
to
made a
fight the
mistake and
Hive
saw a
Tyrant.
fucking yes, I saw it, made a mistake and saw a fucking clip of that, and I was like, damn it. But it looked so fun. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah,
The
and I
roadmap
mean,
looks great too.
to be fair, there are also different Tyranid bioforms too. So like, that's not it. That's not it. Also, we got to stop and pause real quick. Who's your chapter?
I'm still figuring it out for myself.
Okay,
Um,
that's fair. That's fair.
what chapter are the like lore wise? Like I mentioned the other day,
Oh, Raven Guard.
Raven Guard. That's one. But I mentioned who's the explain the one gray knight.
Oh, the Grey Knights. The Grey Knights are the Special Marine chapter order 666.
Oh, okay,
Um they are a Space Marine chapter um specifically parented to the Ordo Malleus.
okay.
They're the part of the Inquisition that deals specifically with demon hunting. These niggas walk around and stab demons in their gigamus. They do not ask for permission, they just do. Um, they're so badass that Malcador the Sigillite, the dude that created their order, also Big E's best friend, uh, big up Jimmy Space. Uh, he took the Moon Titan and pulled it into the webway. You heard me right. A planet-sized moon. He psychically, and with a little bit of technology, pulled that bitch into a part of the warp that was made by the Emperor,
Oh shit.
and held it there for, or it was held there for. I had to look up how long it was, but it was some long years, and they stayed there in the warp, training the guys who would become the first group of Grey Knights. They actually have a Forge world, which is a like a Mechanicus world where they produce all the weapons and shit like that. They have a Forge world specific for them. The Grey Knights are one of my top 5 favorite Space Marine chapters. Um, to date, there has not been a member of the Grey Knights that has fallen to corruption.
Hmm. I might look into them. I'm looking into Raven Guard right now, and I like everything about them except for the fact that they were fucking traitors.
Wait, Raven Guard weren't traitors?
I thought it said. See, this is what
No, 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 no.
Raven Guard, Legions of the Horus Heresy, Raven Guard.
Where are you seeing that at?
Hold on, I'll share it.
Yeah, because Raven Guard are not traitors. Scroll up again.
Is that just a misleading title?
No, no, just misleading title. You got to remember, the Horus Heresy is an event, not specifically that those guys are traitors.
Okay. I
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Okay, I think these guys might be.
They're your. I told you originally that they were. They're your jam. They're kind of my jam too, because as far as like tabletop and video game like war games go, those are my tactics all day. I'm a big believer in guerrilla and
So this
conventional
is how
warfare.
they fucking get you, because what I'm thinking about fucking right now is getting on the fucking game and
Uh-huh. Oh,
spending all
yes.
my fucking money in Raven Guard. These
And remember,
motherfuckers, they
remember
cost
what I
fucking
told
money.
you. The same currency you use to buy your cosmetics is what you use to buy your fucking skills too.
Perks,
Yep.
motherfuckers. So you have to
That's how they
earn
get
them.
you. But yeah, the Raven Guard is definitely your bag. I would like to aspire to salamander ideals, because my birthstone is green, and I love the salamanders were my first favorite of the Space Marine chapters. But I am a blood angel.
Okay.
I'm a son of Sanguinius.
I'm gonna definitely do some more on Raven Guard and go from the okay, yeah, that's why you look so okay.
Look up
Dude.
look up a blood angel real quick for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking exactly what you look like.
Actually, I just got the color to make my helmet so I can so now my character has
Like
the look of
this.
that. Yep, that exactly.
You know I'm gonna have to give me some toys now.
Oh, absolutely.
God, that's how they fucking get you.
And for those playing the home game, no, I didn't just pick Blood Angels because they are also red like the Mechanicus.
So for this, so all in all, outside of the horrible experience we had with having to wait when everyone else got to play, which I think everything happened for a reason because we had a lot of fun with it.
We did.
We still have 4 operation missions that we need to finish. So we
5.
still, yes.
Yep.
So we got time. The year 1 battle plan looks amazing as far as I'm concerned. We are going to get a lot of stuff. Like I said, we're going to get more campaign missions, which means there are going to be more operations. New PvP game mode. That's for y'all new enemies. That's going to be fun. PvE prestige ranks. I'm curious what that's all going to be.
Yeah.
Season 4 is where 2025, where it's that horde mode.
Yeah, man.
That's where we're going to be just fucking. Oh, the which classes had the fucking hammer with the jet?
The assault.
Yo, playing with that class, it's not something that I'll probably play with in operations because I am having a lot of fun with the sniping. But yo, that was so fun.
I'm addicted to Vanguard because it's just how I play. Just line breaker all day. Fucking shock troop. I love it.
Oh man, we appreciate y'all joining us. And apologize in advance that y'all had to listen to that dumb shit in the beginning. But if you're watching and you watch, you understand. This is kind of your obviously you'll know that it's a video episode or whatever. But we want to stress that here, man. Like we like what we like, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
and we don't like people like that.
It honestly, everybody's welcome.
Whoa. I'm not saying
But
he can
but
listen
at
to
the
it. Want
same
to
time,
that tone.
you have to everybody's welcome. But at the same time, you always, no matter where you are, no matter
No,
what fandom
you
you're
said
in,
it the other
you
day.
always
Should
have to
start
read the room.
gatekeeping again.
Yes, you start getting, but more for everybody involved, whether you are the fan entering the space or the fan that is in that space welcoming other people. You have to read the room. If everybody read the room, I think we'd all be much better off because the nerds in the room would know, and the nerds that are not inside the room would also know.
Yes.
Um, Before we go, just case in point, um, going to being a black dude, um, and having lived in the South for a number of years now, um, you have to be aware of where you walk in, especially like restaurants, things like that. You run up on a new side of town or in a different city, and the the restaurant you're looking at is got those red and blue honky tonk lights and a Coors neon light outside, and you can hear what sounds like loud Garth Brooks in the background. Um, Being who I am, I think twice because I know what generally is around that area, both good and bad, and I know what is around my area, both good and bad. So I have to weigh what's going to happen in the situation. Do I need to be here? I'm new here. Maybe I should behave. Maybe I should watch out. And they're honestly doing the same. Now, the interaction that happens is completely based off of like how I interact and how they interact with me. But at all points, everybody should read the room there.
And that's a little nugget of wisdom we're gonna leave you on. We all want you to have fun, but read the fucking room too. And when you make something, if by the chance that some famous person is doing this, and you have the opportunity to do something great, and you're just sitting on it, and no one knows that you're doing it yet, and it's talk to someone who knows about it. Unless you're a fucking diehard fan, you've been watching this shit and living and breathing this shit since you were a kid, because that happens too. You can see it in people's work. If someone came to you and say, you know what, I don't know how it works in the fucking Hollywood Wheel of Fame and all shit like that, who gets what turn and whatever, but when it comes your turn, someone, you know what, you got X franchise. It is
Ask
your
somebody.
it is your job to ask someone who knows about it. If you don't know anything better, and you don't have to pay anyone to talk to you about it. You don't have to pay anyone to go on YouTube and watch a couple of lore videos, or go to the producers and the developers and the people who made this game, or the people who made the game, and sit down in a room and talk to them and say, hey, let me hear all of your ideas and blah, 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 about the game that you put your blood, sweat, and tears into,
My brother,
so I can make it one of the best thing that ever happened. I can do it justice. Not you say, oh, I got this now. And while I know there's some other stuff happening, there's some cool stuff I could kind of talk about, this is a story that I want to tell.
hey, bro, I think we'd have all been fine if they'd have just let Patton Oswalt have Star Wars.
He wanted it.
So it's a long-standing joke. There's an episode of Parks and Rec. Actually, you can go and look it up online. Under I believe it's called Citizen Filibuster. And at the end of this episode of Parks and Rec, Patton Oswalt gives this speech where he melds the Marvel universes together. And this is around the time that Disney has acquired Star Wars. So he's got this whole long drawn out, like fan fictiony film idea for the new Star Wars and a couple other things melded together. And it's amazing. And it's completely funny. It's like cracked out, almost fan fiction type stuff. But once again, to
Where
anybody who is an actual nerd, listen to this thing as if it's not a joke, and you'll realize how much of a nerd Patton Oswalt. It
what we're
made
gonna
me
do
look
real
into him,
quick? We're gonna pause
and
this, and you and I are gonna watch it.
yeah, this made me look into him and made me realize he's an actual freaking nerd, and he actually could have done something with Star Wars.
1 second. Okay, we're back, and yes, give fucking Patton Oswalt something in this universe. That was great. That was
Bro, I
great.
told you. For any of those who haven't watched it, please go to
It's
YouTube.
right here. Pat
Type in,
Oswalt Star Wars filibuster
yes, Citizen
extended cut.
Filibuster. Oh my God, it's hilarious, and it is literally, it's what he's saying is better than 90% of what they've been trying to do lately. Is what's crazy. Like, I wonder what would have happened if they'd have given him the Borderlands movie. That probably would have been nuts.
Oh man, we gotta talk about Borderlands, man.
Oh my God,
That's
yeah.
some other time. Thank you everyone for listening to us. I know this is one of the long episodes. I like when this happens. I like it just when we just talk. It's nice. Appreciate everyone listening to us. We appreciate all your time. Please feel free to share, like, subscribe from your favorite platform. Any suggestions, please message us on one of your favorite platform. Thank you for the comments. Appreciate all those. Lucy Rings, as always, gonna shout y'all out again because y'all leaving comments. Y'all everyone want to shout out, leave a comment. We'll shout you
Of
out.
course.
Get your username read and put on the internet forever. Rings don't
Hey,
because like
me,
that's my boy. So I'm just saying his nickname, but
yeah.
I'll get
I mean,
I'll get his social stuff and get it posted.
it's an easy transaction, man. You quid pro quo. You do for us, we'll do for you.
Yeah, we just talk.
Saint and Sketch always pay their debts.
And we're better than the Lannisters.
Way better.
You guys have a great time, a great day whenever you listen to it. And as always,
Don't forget to have fun.
take care.
Peace.